What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Xbox Game Pass possibly coming to the Nintendo Switch. But before we get started, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new here and you guys like this kind of content. So there has been a lot of rumors and speculation and some hidden Easter eggs inside some of Microsoft's videos that they've been posting, and some media outlets have been talking about Xbox Game Pass possibly coming to the Nintendo Switch and might even get announced this fall. Game Pass is very popular for Microsoft and they're doing very well with it. I really enjoy Game Pass. I think it's well worth the money. For $10 a month, you get over 100 different games to play from a wide selection of games, you know, from the really good indie games to some real big heavy hitters like Wolfenstein 2 and Doom Eternal and Dragon Quest XI. Game Pass is an excellent service for Microsoft Xbox consoles, and I think it really is holding its weight going into this generation for the Xbox Series X series of systems. It's definitely something that's well worth the money. But why would Xbox Game Pass come to Nintendo Switch? Now we have to look at the relationship with Nintendo and Microsoft as of late. There are games like the Ori series, Ori Will of the Wisp and the Blind Forest on Nintendo Switch. There's Minecraft on there, and those come from Microsoft Studios. Every time I boot up Ori Will of the Wisp, it always says Microsoft Studios on it. It's really interesting to see that on one of the screens as you're booting up the game. I think that's really cool, and it's definitely something really different. But why would Xbox and Game Pass come over to Nintendo Switch, and why would Nintendo let that happen? Now, Nintendo has a very interesting history with their IPs and their overall, just like their ecosystem of consoles and how they like to brand themselves. They've had some very strict rules in the past, you know, like with the NES era, where they wouldn't let other developers make games for other consoles. And then the previous relationship between Sony and Nintendo. Sony and Nintendo were planning on making a CD-based console together, and Sony wanted too much of the limelight. They wanted to take what Nintendo had created with their fans and put their Sony name on it. They wanted to call it the Nintendo PlayStation. Nintendo was not having that. They are very well known for making their consoles stand out and very Nintendo-like, I guess you could say. So they dropped that relationship with Sony, even though Sony had the one-up with the CD-ROM technology at the time. They dropped that relationship, and then lo and behold, we got the Sony PlayStation. And the Sony PlayStation brand of consoles has been doing very successful over the last couple decades. So again, why would Xbox Game Pass be coming to a Nintendo console? And here is my thinking behind this. If we're going to see Xbox Game Pass come to a Nintendo console like the Nintendo Switch, or maybe even the Nintendo Switch Pro, it would come in the form of Nintendo Game Pass, or Nintendo's going to give it its own name. They're going to call it Nintendo Switch Pass, or Nintendo whatever, Nintendo Flicks, I don't know, some weird name that Nintendo's going to come up with, give it their own flair, make it Nintendo. Then what I think is going to happen is that it's going to be powered by Microsoft. So they're going to use Microsoft's servers in order to make this happen. Could you imagine seeing an Xbox icon on your Nintendo Switch, or an app? Not me. And then they're going to add in, you know, not only going to be able to play some of these AAA titles like Doom Eternal and maybe Halo the Master Chief Collection that's available on the Xbox Game Pass, or maybe like Devil May Cry, right? The new Devil May Cry 5 that is on Game Pass. You'll be able to play those games. And then also, can you imagine mixing in like Breath of the Wild and Mario, the new Mario Golf game, or Splatoon 2 or something like that to go alongside what Microsoft has on Game Pass? I think that's the kind of relationship we're going to see going forward, is that's going to be an intertwine of sorts, and Nintendo's going to slap their label on it, and they're going to have their icon stand out to where it's kind of like powered by Microsoft. Now, some of these bigger games might not be able to run on a Nintendo Switch Pro, so I think this is where xCloud comes in, and Microsoft's servers will come in, be able to stream those super powerful 4K huge large games that are going to be coming out in the future, and the ones that are out now, being able to stream it through xCloud. And I think that is where we're going to see this happen. I think that would be a smart move for both Microsoft and Nintendo. Now, this is just all my opinion. You know, that I obviously don't have any idea what's going to happen and the relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo. But the one thing that I wanted to make clear, guys, is that I don't think Nintendo's going to have a Microsoft Xbox app visible on the home screen on a Nintendo Switch. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Nintendo's going to slap their brand on it, and they're going to make it very Nintendo-like, and it's going to be powered by Microsoft. And I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. But I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this relationship with Nintendo and Microsoft, and how you think Xbox Game Pass is going to be put on to a Nintendo Switch console. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, guys, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.